So what we're doing is that I wanted to experiment with video making because I think it's a really cool idea to kind of make a concept of like OC talks to where you just sit around and chat and talk about your OCs. Some people find that lame, mainly if it's like the cringy OCs, you know the one I'm talking about, to where it's like a demon angel, one has red eye,
Oh
one has blue
God.
eyes. You know
Oh,
the one I'm talking about.
I do.
Those are hard to listen to, but I feel like we've gotten past that to where we can just talk about our cool ideas, because you're making a short, well, not short story, but you are making a story, right?
Yes.
With a character named Penguin, correct?
Yes. Penguin Dean Carthage.
Yeah, not the one from Batman, right?
No. No. Yes, I would hope not.
Yeah, I remember when you first made Penguin, how long was it ago?
That was I'd have to say I was around 13, 14, maybe older.
Oh gosh,
So it was a
okay.
while ago. Um and when we're recording this, by the way, it's 2024. So that would be like I'm 20 right now, so then that would be 5 or 6 years ago.
Dang, so he's a freaking adolescent baby from your puberty-ridden mind.
Yes, yes, indeed.
Do you think it's really interesting to still, like, how do you feel about taking the concept of Penguin and then revising him with, like, a more concrete rewrite of the story from, more knowledge you've gained throughout the years?
I feel like it's definitely a turn that I should make in redesigning him because, I haven't really touched him up in, like, again, however many years. Because I came up with the concept, liked it, kind of just stuck with it, and it grew on me as the years went by. But looking at him now, he just kind of seems very bland compared to some of my other characters that I
Okay.
have now, which are a little bit more fleshed out. But I feel like definitely a redesign is the right step, giving him a little glow up.
Mm-hmm.
To make him more in touch with the world that he's in and the world that he grew up in.
That makes sense. And I feel like something we should do for our viewers, since me and you know who Penguin is, the viewers don't. Even though I'm sure by now I'm making sketches of him on the paper. But this is in the past before the drawing. So if you can you explain, like, who is Penguin?
So, Penguin is a very short man, a very short male being, per se.
No.
And he is a very avian inspired character.
Okay.
I based him around ptarmigan birds. So those are like a kind of species of bird that live in Antarctica, if I remember correctly, and they're very fit for cold weather. His design was kind of inspired from that, as well as penguins, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Specifically the chin strap penguin.
Mm-hmm.
And so I took inspiration from that, melded it into a human, and he's a very special guy. He is a very important part of the story that I'm writing.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, he's the main character. But he is um a very out of place character in the world that he's in
Okay.
because he's basically essentially being used as a war machine at this point, or at
Right.
least for more shady purposes.
Right. And I do understand, because I have read a little bit of your story thus far. Um, this takes place like in the SCP based universe, correct? Or are
That
you using that for like a placeholder, or more kind of like a bootleg SCP, or you want it to be an SCP tall tale but not quite? Like,
I feel
what's going
like
on with that.
I feel like it is centered around the SCP Foundation that is confirmed, but I don't want it to be entirely obvious right away.
Right,
Um,
okay.
it's more of one of those things where it was originally supposed to be a precursor, but kind of set in a similar environment, but it slowly became to the point where I was like, I feel like SCP just kind of fits the story better,
Okay.
for what I wanted to accomplish with this story.
Okay, I was wondering because with the SCP stuff, like I love SCP. I grew up with that when I was a preteen, like that's my bread and butter.
Oh, Sam.
But I was kind of thinking if you were just saying SCP as just a replacement name for like a foundation science, excuse me, kind of story, or
So, the thing about the name of it, I don't want to include the SCP numbers or
okay.
like name uh tags for the SCPs because it just feels a little clunky. When it felt clunky when I was writing it in the first draft, and I tried putting it into the second draft, but it's it still felt clunky. So I feel like it's just better just to give descriptors because it doesn't make sense considering you know the character we're following.
Right, that makes sense. And if you would want to explain to our viewers who do not know of SCP Universe, would you like to give a short summary of what that is?
So, the SCP Foundation is basically an organization dead set on discovering anomalies, the supernatural, and the good, the bad, and the ugly,
Mm-hmm.
basically of um things that you don't aren't used to seeing normally in the laws of the universe.
And it's
And
all fictional, by the way.
yes, it's not
It's all
real.
fictional.
In game. But yeah, it's centered around finding those anomalies, capturing them, containing them, and figuring out what they are, what they do, and how, they got there and stuff like that. And it
Mm-hmm.
is a fan-based wiki, if I remember correctly,
Yeah, and
where it's written by thousands of different authors on the web.
oh yeah, thousands upon thousands. It's like a bunch of report entries, interviews with these so-called SCPs or whatever. And there's literally like thousands and thousands and thousands of articles that you can read, and it's really cool because it's an SCP wiki. You can look it up right now, and it is a huge collaboration project of everyone around the world making their own weird fictional character and just throwing it into the SCP universe, which I think is very cool.
Yeah, it's a very versatile concept, which is another reason why I really wanted to include it in this book because it fits nicely with the story.
Oh, right. I think that's a pretty good one. I think I'm not too sure if that tangent let you touch up on this, but what inspired you to make Penguin? What led you up to the moment to where you wanted to make this whole story about this character?
Well, when I was first introduced to SCP, it was a very new concept to me. I didn't really vibe with it very a lot at first, but as time went on and I eventually just delved into it by myself on my own accord because I was like, you know what, why not just read up on some other articles that I haven't read. I became hyper fixated on SCP and only SCP for quite a few years of my life.
Man, I remember that. When we used to go to youth group, that is
That was
the
all
only
I
thing
talk
you would
about.
talk to me about.
Oh yeah,
Was I
but
the one who introduced it to you, I think? With the
yes.
plague doctor? Oh
Yes,
my
I'm pretty
god.
sure it was. Yes. So,
Amazing.
great introduction, but I feel like um I forget which number it was, but it was the one with many voices. That SCP was kind of what kind of started getting me into it,
Oh, like
as
the.
well as the addendums and interviews. Those really kicked it in hyperdrive for me.
Oh, yes. Alright, so another thing for our cute little penguin boy, because I think you did say he has a soft British accent.
He does.
So for your cute little British Birdman thing, why call him Penguin?
So, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't really plan that out. At first, I just kind of wanted a cute name for him, and I was like, oh, well, this is just gonna be a placeholder name. It eventually turned into an actual thing,
Mhm.
but what actually sold it for me was because I developed a little story where in his childhood he got bullied for, having a very particular face structure. And it's, it sounds bad when I say it right now, um, but
Okay.
basically he has a mop head of curly black hair. Not like black, but like chocolate brown.
Right.
And um so uh he has that, and he also has chops that go down his face that make him look kind that like he got compared to a chin strap penguin for most of his childhood, and or at least for his early pubescent years.
I'm not gonna lie, when you said he looked like a chin strap penguin, I had no idea what you were talking about until I looked it up in Google. And I'm pretty sure I'll show a picture of it right now or some point in the video. But when I saw that, I died because the picture I had was a penguin that had the teeniest face with small squinty eyes. And I'm like, dude, ain't no way you're insinuating he has like the tiniest, squintiest eyes and like a small face. I'm like, ain't no way you're doing that.
Actually, fun fact: his face was originally supposed to be a little scrunched in the original concept,
Oh my
and
god.
I eventually decided that just looks weird. I don't like it. It looks odd on him.
Oh my lord.
Thank God I got rid of that concept, cause
Wow. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I think I might
oh,
draw that as a joke.
do it, do it. I would die happy if you did that.
Oh my, yeah, that was pretty freaking wild. Um, yeah, that was a lot for my brain to handle. Well, also, we discussed this at like 3 a.m. in the morning, so that didn't help with the delirium either.
Real.
Okay, so another one. You don't have to answer this one because this one goes a little deep, and I know you since you're kind of a perfectionist like me, but we're trying to break out of that mold. Um, are you able to give us a small summary of his backstory if you're comfortable with it? More like just where he came from before he got to the Foundation.
So the original concept was supposed to be he was found in a ruined temple, um, just basically sitting there. He is.
Where? Like in the desert?
No, it was supposed to be somewhere in like Europe, but it
Oh,
isn't
okay.
really it isn't really specified.
Okay.
And again, keep in mind this concept was ages ago, so it needs some touching up.
Okay.
But he was taken in as a young child by a widowed mother,
Okay.
who lost both her husband and her kids.
Mm.
And he was basically the replacement child, or like was helping her heal. By just being there for her. He was very kind and sweet, and she just took him under her wing per se. But yeah, that's basically his beginnings. And he was raised in London area, which is where he got his British American accent. But the reason why he's sounds American now is because when he got transferred over to the Foundation, um, he would get picked on for having a British accent, basically. So he learned to kind of mask that.
Okay.
And the reason why he'd get picked on is because he is essentially considered a quote unquote VIP of. It was supposed to be D class originally, but I'm still debating whether or not he should be like an official SCP or just D class.
Okay. No, that makes sense. At least from the little bit of the backstory you've showed me, I think he would just be an SCP, but he gets treated like a D class, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Like, he is an SCP, but maybe he just cooperates so well with the Foundation and doesn't hurt other people. You know, he just acts like a quirky little human.
Yes.
I think he would be. He can interact with the D class, but he's not a D class. He's an SCP.
Yes. Which I definitely agree that definitely fits the narrative a lot better. And keep in mind, these story paths kind of have to get retouched, so this story might change in the future.
Yeah.
So don't think that this is canon or anything.
No problem.
I'm just spitballing from what I had.
Okay, so I got a couple more questions here. Don't worry, we're almost done.
Alright.
I'm trying to think. I think both of these questions can be combined into one. So the first question is, does he have any abilities? And the follow-up for that is, have you had a fun experience making this character? And are you also looking forward to, like, revamping this character and making him better?
So for the abilities of this character, he is he has an immunity to certain toxins that us humans can't be exposed to.
Okay.
So that's stuff like chloroform, like venom, poison, stuff like that. He is also can filter out smoke and gas from his lungs, which again comes in very handy. He has retractable claws on his hands. Um, he technically has wings, but he doesn't grow them until later on in the story, which I'm not going to go into any of that because that's spoiler territory. And you guys don't deserve that yet, so so there you go.
You're like, I haven't gotten there yet.
I'm not spoiling you guys today, don't worry.
Okay. I thought that would be a very I'm looking forward to when you do write that scene eventually with his wings. But
it is a transformation scene, and on top of that, he also has like in the original concept, he has venom spikes under his feathers that are supposed to eject venom when he's like hostile or feels threatened, basically.
Like a stonefish. If you ever seen one of those, go look it up. They look freaking gnarly.
Yeah, a stonefish or a lionfish was the inspiration that I took from that for the venom spikes, but he's very fluent in certain languages, particularly Russian, I think Spanish, Italian, and there was one other language, but I can't remember what it was. I'd have to look at the file.
I think it was French too.
Yes, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
What is it? It's not. Is it trilingual or bilingual?
Polylingual.
Poly. Okay.
Polylingual. Yeah.
There's so many linguals. I can't.
Yeah, it's polylingual.
That's a lot to keep up on. All right. So the last one. This one is. I think this is going to be a bit more of a fun question. Since I am making and drawing the concepts for your little penguin boy, are there certain things that you're looking forward to me playing around with? Last night we just had a discussion of is it spoilers if I say they're the last of their species? Is that a spoiler?
Yeah, probably a little bit. Probably a little bit. Probably don't include
Okay,
that.
well, I might say that, but probably not. But anyway, just a certain species he is. And since they're avians, I was all like, well, since he's like a male bird thing, would he have something to show off to the ladies? And we didn't really want to go like the gross route of like turkeys or stuff. So something I thought of is like there's a certain breed of paradise bird that has really long fluffy feathers and they perk them up to attract a female. So I was thinking about the feathers being on his neck, and when he sees a pretty woman, those feathers just like really big surrounding his head.
Which, yes, we both agreed the concept is beautiful. I personally feel like in my style I would make it a little bit less flamboyant per se, but then again he is kind of half bird. But for me, my concept that I ended up kind of deciding on is like iridescent feathers underneath his the feathers of his neck fluff.
You said you want them to be like iridescent blue?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And when he sees a pretty woman, those feathers like flare up and it's like all you can see is like bright blue on his neck. So poor little guy.
Yeah, I think for me I'm probably going to play with the flamboyant like feather scarf. I'm sure you'll probably see it in the video at some point because that's a funny idea to me. I love like the flamboyant big feathery blue looking scarf.
Oh yeah, and feel free to experiment as much as you want with him. I don't care.
Oh yeah. And I guess another thing is, do you plan on posting this book on like a forum, Reddit, getting it published? Like what are some things you're thinking about doing with this story?
I honestly haven't decided yet. It was originally supposed to be just for myself, just for fun, but as I've thought about it, I kind of do want to get it published. But if I do that, I'd have to spend a lot of money getting, all that stuff done, getting art done for the cover, getting a publisher, getting an editor, and all that stuff. However, I mean, I guess I could edit it myself, but we won't talk about that.
Fair enough. I think maybe for now, somehow posting it on a trustworthy forum or somewhere to where somebody can read it would probably be a good spot because publishing takes a lot of money.
It does.
So kind
Yes.
of even doing something like this, giving it a more attention on YouTube, and it could be interesting for people and it could not, but either way, even if it's like 5 people who watched it, those are 5 people who now know of the concept.
Agreed. I
So
agree.
I think it will be a good publication. Like, God, you see my channel? I'm nowhere near. I only got 6 subscribers. That's all I got, but
Humble
that's
beginnings, man.
humble beginnings.
Oh
But
yeah.
yeah, I think this is just I wanted to make this because I think it would be just, fun to talk about all that, just the conclusion of this whole thing wrapping up. Um it's fun to talk about uh OCs. It really is. Um and it's fun developing them with other writers. Me and my friend here, we're writers, and over the years we've gotten closer because of writing, and we really enjoy it.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Probably the best thing ever, honestly. Well, next to art. Art is number one
I mean,
for me.
technically, writing is still art.
It
It's
is,
an
but
art
I mean,
form.
yes.
You're
Yeah.
talking about drawing, though.
I'm
I
talking about drawing.
understand.
Yes, you know. You know. You know.
I do know.
You are aware.
I am aware.
But weren't there like two other questions that you had? I couldn't remember, but
No, that's it.
I'm pretty sure that I didn't answer them directly. But I couldn't. I'm not sure.
I think you answered them well enough. We got through all my questions, and we also did like a couple of extra questions that weren't even on there. So
All right. Fair enough.
I think we did pretty good.
All right.
All right, I think this was a pretty good interview. Thank you for letting me, um, I guess, interview you and ask you about your little bird boy that I love. I've fallen in love with Penguin.
He is
He's a
a
cutie.
love. He is a love.
I love him so much.
Oh yes. But thank you for having me. Thank you for the interview. It was lovely. And thank you for drawing him, by the way.
Of course,
I'm so
love.
excited. I'm so excited.
It's actually kind of funny because during this recording, I haven't drawn it yet. So when you see the video, the recording happened before the drawing. So she's pre-thanking me.
Yes, I am thanking you in advance.
Alright, thank you so much. And I guess just have a good day and see you later.
Yep, see you. Alright, bye.
Bye.